Fairies and nymphs, although frequently mistaken for one another, are in fact distinct entities in mythology. To understand what sets nymphs apart from fairies, and to explore any traits they may share, let's start with a side-by-side comparison. The nymphs. Originating from ancient Greek mythology, the concept of the nymph has often been obscured over time. A nymph can best be described as a physical embodiment of nature. These beings are often depicted as minor female deities associated with natural elements, representing nature's extension. This fundamental idea has led to various intriguing interpretations in literature and other forms. One thing about nymphs that tends to remain pretty consistent in literature and elsewhere, they are almost always depicted as being human size. This is one of the key ways in which they can be differentiated from fairies. They are also quite different from traditional Greek goddesses. This is particularly true in the sense that nymphs are often connected to a specific location or even a specific landform. If you look for examples of nymphs in art, you will see a consistency in terms of how they are shown. What's a fairy? In contrast, fairies boast a richer and a more complex mythology, largely due to their presence across various European and Roman mythological traditions. Although there are commonalities among the diverse interpretations of fairies, understanding the specific cultural and historical context from which a particular fairy originates is crucial. This background provides significant insight into what one might anticipate in an encounter with these mythical creatures. Knowing the origins and traditions associated with a fairy can greatly enhance one's understanding of its characteristics and behaviours. For example, in most depictions of fairies throughout history into modern pop culture, fairies are shown as being very tiny beings. For the most part, we're talking about something about the size of an average human thumb. This is one of the fastest and easiest ways to tell the difference between a fairy and a nymph. But there are a few more things to look for. Another way to tell the difference comes down to the presence of the supernatural. Fairies are often gifted with a variety of magical powers. These can include enchantment and flying. By contrast, nymphs traditionally do not have any supernatural powers. Appearance and origins. The nymphs. They are typically perceived as stunning, youthful women. Their unique aura, hinting at a significance beyond mere human existence, impacts the way humans view them. Their attractiveness is distinctly unusual. Though not usually regarded as eternal beings, nymphs are believed to have lifespans far exceeding those of humans, often spanning several hundred years, but rarely longer than that. Discussing the term's origin, we turn to the Greek word nympha, from which the word nymph evolved. This term is widely recognised as a word that describes young women. In certain situations, it was also used to refer to young brides. As time progressed, the meaning of this word has subtly transformed to denote someone who is distinctly youthful, attractive, and frequently a virgin. The fairies. One aspect that captivates our attention about fairies, especially in comparison to nymphs, is their elusive origin. While nymphs have their roots firmly grounded in Greek mythology, the origins of fairies remain enigmatic, with no single source to pinpoint. Across a range of different sources, we can find examples of creatures that could be considered fairies. There are both males and females across these varying sources. A typical fairy is going to be extremely small in size, yet the majority of their physical attributes closely resemble those of humans. The understanding we have today regarding fairies, whose name originates from early contemporary English, Old French and Vulgar Latin etymologies, largely took shape during the period when the creatures became popular during the Elizabethan era. Artists, writers and various creators essentially merged the earlier romantic concept of these beings with certain characteristics associated with elves. Whether this fusion was deliberate or inadvertent, a significant number of contemporary depictions of fairies draw inspiration from this particular interpretation. What are the different types of nymphs? In reality, nymphs can be classified in numerous distinct ways: celestial nymph, territorial nymph, water nymph, underwater nymph, plant nymph. As evident, these distinctions primarily revolve around their habitats. For instance, a woodland nymph may be linked to a particular tree species or even an individual tree. Another case in point is water nymphs, commonly referred to as haliads. Water nymphs typically inhabit areas near the surface of the water body they are associated with, while underwater nymphs reside beneath the water's surface. Nymphs are seen as divine spirits who maintain a close, profound connection to nature itself, and more specifically to the details of the area in which they inhabit. In numerous representations, regardless of their habitat, nymphs are often engaged in the art of song and dance. These activities are intimately intertwined with their essence and presence. While not overtly immortal, nymphs can live for centuries without fear of old age or disease. In some cases, they can live even longer than that. Their death often only occurs when something important about the area they inhabit has been changed. If some fundamental form of damage has occurred, such as a tree being felled or the area being destroyed altogether, the nymph may die. While not gods, there are depictions in which particular gods have taken the form of a nymph. What are the different types of fairies? There exist various creatures that are generally regarded as a kind of fairy. Pixies, dwarves, elves, gnomes, goblins, leprechauns, and sprites. As you can see, we are looking at a fairly elaborate collection of beings. You can find examples of these creatures throughout several different mythologies. Some of these examples can prove to be larger than the size usually attributed to fairies, which makes their inclusion controversial to some. Behaviour. The fairies can be mischievous, helpful, or harmful. They often possess magical powers and can cast spells, grant wishes, or curse humans. Their behaviour towards humans is unpredictable. The nymphs are generally seen as benign and are closely connected to the natural world. They are often considered guardians of their respective natural elements and are usually not harmful to humans. Cultural role. In folklore, fairies often serve as cautionary figures in stories, teaching lessons or representing natural forces. They are central to numerous fairy tales and folklore stories. Nymphs are integral to often interacting with gods and heroes. They symbolise the divine aspect of nature and its beauty. Interaction with humans. Fairies. Interaction with humans is varied, ranging from helpful to trickery or even hostility. They often have complex rules for human interaction. Nymphs. Nymphs occasionally interact with humans, usually in a benign manner. They can become companions or even lovers of gods and mortals. Thank you for joining me in exploring the fascinating differences between fairies and nymphs. If this journey through the mythological realms has captivated you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights. Until next time, yours truly, Mythos, the Historian.